and welcome to another edition of Currently in Quincy. I'm Joe Catalano. Today we will feature the Physical Therapist Assistant Program at Quincy College. First though, as always, we take a look at the weather and the news for you. Currently in Quincy, it's nice out there, sunshine. It's 69 degrees right now. Temperatures will climb into the mid, maybe even the upper 70s this afternoon under partly sunny skies. Comfortable night tonight, partly cloudy, lows drop off to about 60. Not a bad last weekend of September coming up. A lot of clouds around tomorrow, but it'll stay dry and pretty mild with highs near 70 degrees. Nicer on Sunday with a mix of sun and clouds. Mid-60s, last day of the month on Monday, believe it or not, it'll be nice too. Partly sunny with a high around 70 degrees. Again, sunshine and 69 in Quincy right now. Checking out the news for you today, 2 men from Brooklyn, New York have been charged with scamming an elderly Quincy woman out of over $120,000 in cash. Police say 23-year-old Shawang Ning and 27-year-old Shaquin Liu were part of a scheme that convinced the victim that her computer had been hacked and that an online poker website was stealing money from her accounts. The victim called a number that was sent to her. That's where a woman convinced the victim to allow her access to her computer. From there, the scammers further convinced the woman to withdraw large amounts of cash and then give the money to 2 men who came to her home, claiming to be from the FBI. The victim eventually became suspicious. Police were contacted. The next time those men came for the money, officers were waiting and arrested both suspects. They were arraigned this past Wednesday on larceny and conspiracy charges in Quincy District Court. The victim's money, however, has not been recovered. Now, preparations are well underway here in Quincy for the November 5th presidential election. Quincy City Clerk Nicole Crispo says 2 weeks of early in-person voting will begin on October 19th.
We will be having early voting October 19th through November 1st. I'm going to break it down a little bit. October 19th and the 20th will be at Central Middle School. New spot. No voting at North Quincy High this year. They had some previous commitments, and Central was gracious enough to have us. We're excited about the spot. It's got great parking. That's the first weekend. We'll be there 8:30 to 4:30, Saturday and Sunday, October 19th and 20th. And then we'll bring it all back here for Monday morning, where we'll open up in the Great Hall, 8:30 to 4:30, October 21st through November 1st.
Now, October 26th is the last day to register to vote in the November election, and October 29th, the last day to request a mail-in ballot. Crispo is urging voters who want a mail-in ballot to request it as soon as possible. Mail-in ballots must be received at the city clerk's office by 8 p.m. on November 5th. Crispo right now predicting a 72 to 78% voter turnout for the upcoming election. There are 2 new officers on the Quincy Police Department. Swearing-in ceremonies were held on Monday at City Hall for the new officers who transferred to Quincy from surrounding departments. Alyssa Sayers is a former Abington police officer, and Joseph Canavan was an officer in Brookline. Quincy Police Chief Mark Kennedy said their loss is Quincy's gain.
As the mayor alluded, we're fully funded. The city invests heavily in our training. It's really a great place to work. We're going to be accredited when we move into the building for the first time ever. We've been working on that for about a year now, and we anticipate being accredited when we move in. So it's really a great time to be a Quincy police officer. I wish you both the best in your training, and I spoke to both your former chiefs, and they were sad to see you go, so that's a good thing for us. Actually, they both said that they'd take you back anytime, but they plan on keeping you. So,
Quincy Mayor Thomas Koch told the new officers that they're joining at an exciting time because the new Quincy Police Station will be completed in about a year. Both of those new officers are Quincy natives. Part of the rehabilitation of Forbes Hill Park in Quincy will also include the restoration of the historic Forbes Hill Water Tower. Quincy Mayor Thomas Koch says although the tower itself is fine, it's not safe to go into right now.
The stone tower is in good shape. What people don't realize is the steel lining inside that held the water, and then there's a roof on top, and there's a stairway that reaches up to that roof. The stairway goes between the steel tank and the outer stone, and the roof has been in tough shape. The stairway is in really bad shape. So, I think they're looking at that, how best to address it, and then fix it up. The stone itself is in great shape. Quincy granite, of course. I think it's a visible monument, really, to the Quincy granite industry in many ways. But yeah, so that the idea there is to get everything off of the tower. Antenna-wise, I don't think there's much being used anymore anyway. And then tighten that roof up and secure the facility.
That tower was built in 1899 and originally stored 330,000 gallons of water next to the former reservoir. The tower was taken out of service in 1955, and the reservoir was filled in and Forbes Hill Park was created. The tower is now on the Register of Historic Places. This past summer, the city did complete a new basketball court, new tennis and pickleball court, and a new children's playground at Forbes Hill Park. A new walking path will be built and 30 new trees will be planted this fall. Well, tomorrow, even the Ashmont branch of the MBTA's Red Line will be shut down as the T completes a major overhaul of the Braintree branch. For tomorrow only, buses will also be replacing the trains on the Ashmont branch to allow crews to perform track work to remove a speed restriction. MBTA's Chief Operating Officer Ryan Caholen says all this disruption will be worth it.
What we'll have with this portion of the work complete is a really solid red line from the top to bottom and out to Ashmont. I think that the problems that we've had for the last year or so is as we start to cure problems, trains, right? They will always find the weakest point. They'll find the bottleneck. And so when you have trains, say from Ashmont to JFK running now at 40 miles an hour, when they now get into the main line of the red line out to Alewife and there's still speed restrictions out there, things start to back up onto each other. So to make it all work, it's really an orchestration that relies on, little to no speed restrictions for the entire line to see the benefits at both ends.
A service on the Braintree branch of the Red Line has been suspended since September 6th for work on 18 miles of track that will eliminate 20 speed restrictions. Full service is scheduled to resume on Monday morning. Well, visiting hours are being held today for retired Quincy Fire Chief Thomas Gorman. Gorman died at home last Friday at the age of 87 after an illness. Gorman served as chief from 1991 until his retirement in 2002. He joined the Quincy Fire Department in 1963. Mayor Thomas Koch said Gorman came from a proud family of firefighters.
Of course, his father was the chief before him, many years before. So it's quite a tradition in that family. He's got a son, George. He's a Braintree fireman. He's got nephews of firemen in Quincy, and just love the job. So I certainly express my sympathy to Sally and his boys, and appreciate his incredible service to the city over the years. I know he's going to be waked at St. Joe's Friday and the funeral St. John's on Saturday.
Gorman was a U.S. Army veteran, having served in the military police, was Quincy's emergency management director for several years after his retirement, and a longtime board member right here at Quincy Access Television. Gorman is survived by his wife, 2 sons, grandchildren, and a great-grandchild. The visiting hours are today, 4 to 7 p.m. at St. Joseph's Church in Quincy Point. Then a 10 a.m. funeral tomorrow at St. John the Baptist Church in Quincy Center. Burial with full military honors will be at St. Paul Cemetery in Hingham. Donations in Gorman's memory may be made to Boston Children's Hospital. It's our check of news for you today. Coming up, Dr. Christy Emericino of the Quincy College Physical Therapist Assistant Program is joining us with some exciting news That's next. Welcome back. Today we're happy to welcome back to the program Quincy College. This time we're focusing on the Physical Therapist Assistant Program and its expansion to the Quincy campus. So Director Dr. Christy Amarosino is joining us to tell us all about it. Good to see you, Doctor. Thanks for coming over.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. So the big news, it's coming to Quincy, which I said to myself, why wasn't it in Quincy first?
Yeah.
So it was in Plymouth first?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So historically, the program was started down on the Plymouth campus
Really?
in 2015.
Okay.
Graduated its first students in 2017. And since then, it's been only offered on the Plymouth campus, in-person classes during the daytime hours.
Okay.
And over the years, there's just been some feedback from students or potential applicants that just didn't feel they could make that type of commitment. And so we decided to, adapt and try to offer something that was more conducive to maybe the working student
Sure.
and somebody who would want to, become a PTA, but not have to go to school full time during the day.
Right, right.
So this program is going to be more of a hybrid program where you can take the lecture portion of the classes online and then there will still be a in-person component for the labs,
Okay.
because we do teach a lot of hands-on techniques.
Can't do that online, right? Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
so it'll be this combination, and those lab sessions will be in Quincy, on the Quincy campus.
Okay.
So that it can, offer an option for people in the Quincy community and Metro Boston area and other areas besides basically what we're offering now in the South Shore and Cape and South Coast areas.
Yeah. So will the program at the Plymouth campus remain the same, or will that will remain the same?
Yes.
It will.
Yep.
Okay.
So we'll still offer the Plymouth option. So
Yep.
we'll have two options with a staggered start. So the Plymouth in-person program would start in September, and then this new program would start in January, so that there's offset start times.
I see. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think that the pandemic had anything to do with the request for kind of a virtual or hybrid model, if you will?
Maybe potentially.
Yeah.
I think I think it's twofold, sort of. Some students do not want to learn online; they want to learn in person, and then some students really adapted and sort of. Liked having the online option.
Yeah.
But it's not for everybody,
Right.
so having two options I think is great, and two locations obviously is great, but certainly I think instructors' comfort level with online learning definitely went up
For sure.
from the pandemic.
necessity,
so we're
right.
all pretty comfortable with that
Right.
format at this
Okay.
point. Yeah.
We should probably take a little step back and ask you, what is the Physical Therapist Assistant Program? What does it entail?
Right,
Yeah.
right. So the program is a 2-year program.
Okay.
At the end of the program, you earn an associate's degree in physical therapist assistant.
Okay.
And it's within those 2 years, you take courses that prepare you to be a PTA who works under the direction and supervision of a physical therapist. To learn all the techniques, but also the background knowledge that you need, such as anatomy and physiology and psychology, and a number of other general education courses as well.
Yeah.
In addition.
So this is a specific pathway of vocation, right? This is a physical therapist assistant. That's like its own separate thing from a physical therapist.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So the main difference is that the physical therapist is, goes to more schooling and more clinical education, and is trained to do evaluations of patients as well as treatment. The physical therapist assistant is pretty much only rendering treatment and not doing the evaluation. So when the physical therapist does the evaluation, they come up with a plan of care, and then the physical therapist assistant renders that plan of care.
Okay. So would someone going through this assistant program be able to continue onward to become a physical therapist, or would they have to?
Not necessarily,
Really?
no.
Okay.
It is its own career path.
Okay.
Yeah. There are programs that bridge the two if you so desire
Yeah.
to eventually become a physical therapist,
Right.
but that isn't the typical pathway.
Okay.
No.
Is that the pathway you took? Because you are a physical therapist.
I am a physical therapist.
Yeah.
No, I actually entered into a program my freshman year of college that was that gained me a master's degree in physical therapy, and then I actually went back to school not that long ago and got my doctorate of physical therapy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that was your path. That's
Yes.
the way you wanted to go.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's an associate's degree, so it's a 2-year program. So it's pretty intensive.
It is pretty robust curriculum
Yeah.
for sure. So we try to prepare our applicants and our students to to be ready for the receiving a lot of information in a short period of time. And so they have to have some prerequisites
I was gonna ask about that,
to get into the program so that they can kind of jump right in
Okay.
to the curriculum. Yeah.
So who would be a good student for the physical therapist assistant
Yeah,
program,
yeah.
Dr. Yen?
So we get a lot of variety of backgrounds of students. We do have some that come right from high school, but I would say the majority come more from a post-baccalaureate, having had a bachelor's degree. It's not mandatory
Okay.
or by any means, but a lot of students have earned a bachelor's degree in something like exercise science or human physiology, kinesiology, dance, physical education, things
okay.
like that, that maybe either they're just going to go in a different direction or it maybe didn't afford them a particular specific career path. And
Yeah.
so this, gives them that option.
Yeah. Do you have to be in kind of good physical condition to be a physical therapist assistant? I mean, it's a physical job, right?
Yeah, it is somewhat physical, but I wouldn't say that's a definite criteria.
All right.
There are certain essential functions that we ask students to acknowledge and be able to do, such as minimal types of lifting and bending and, pushing, pulling, things
Right.
like that, because when you are working with a patient, depending on the setting,
Yep.
it could be more physical versus other settings that might not be as physical.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Would an assistant go to people's homes to perform physical therapy? They would.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So in the physical therapy field, and we offer home care, and PTAs can also work for home care agencies as
Okay.
well.
Okay. So what does the kind of workforce look like in terms of finding a job once you come through this program?
Yeah, it's excellent.
Really?
Yeah, there's a high demand for healthcare workers in general.
right, yeah.
So that brings us down to physical therapists, physical therapist assistants. To be honest, I get job offers and opportunities in my inbox multiple times per week, at least, from either just colleagues of mine or places that take our students on on their clinicals, looking for PTAs.
Is that
And can
right?
I post this job? Can you post this? Can you send this to your students? Can you tell your graduates? So people, they're looking for PTAs. So the outlook is great.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
probably is a result of the pandemic, the whole healthcare field, right?
I
Folks
believe so,
retired
yes, yeah.
Or just more burned out, right?
They were burnt. People
Yeah.
were burnt out and have found other avenues to use either their healthcare background or not, something completely different.
Yeah. We do have a little a video clip of the program. I'm guessing this is at the Plymouth campus.
Yes.
Okay.
This would be at the Plymouth campus. Yep.
To show folks the lab portion, and here it is right here. You can see it in your monitor
Okay.
there. And they're just, these are both students, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Currently, these are second-year students now, so they would have been first-year students in the video.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So will you be bringing a lab to Quincy as well, or is there already a lab there?
Yes, so there will be a lab in Quincy that, we fully anticipate that it will match the equipment that we have in Plymouth,
Okay.
and that it sort of mimics a physical therapy clinic
Yeah.
itself, so they have all the equipment available to them that they would need to learn the techniques on. Yeah.
Do you have to bring on new instructors for this expanded program? Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
we will. Yep. So, so that is also looking good.
Yeah.
So,
How many students do you anticipate in the first cohort coming up in January?
yeah, so we've been accredited for 16 students
Oh, all right.
in the new program.
Oh, so it's very selective. Okay.
It is,
Yeah.
yeah. It's a small program. And basically our numbers have to be, are mandated or overseen by the accreditation of physical therapy education.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. And after they complete the program, graduate, get their degree, is there any kind of licensure exam that's involved?
Yes.
There is. Okay.
Yeah. So it's a national physical therapy or physical therapist or physical therapist assistant examination, but it is by state as well. So
see.
you have to answer some state-specific questions as well. So you get licensed in the state that you intend to practice in.
Okay.
So that's a fairly rigorous exam, as you can imagine. But we have an excellent pass rate. Our students do very well on the exam, and then we have a 100% employment rate
Wow.
after graduation.
Well, that's
Multiple years in a row.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm assuming, like all the programs at Quincy College, that financial aid is available for folks who qualify.
Yes,
Okay.
so there's financial aid available, and all physical therapist assistant students get a $3,000 scholarship
Oh.
as well.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice. Have you had past successes, Doctor, that you could tell us about without naming names, obviously?
Oh,
but
yes.
yeah.
Absolutely, yes. I mean, just going back on the cohorts of students that I've had since I've been here, there's students working in outpatient clinics, in school systems, inpatient hospitals or skilled nursing facilities. One of our instructors now is a graduate, so she's an instructor and a tutor for the program.
Oh.
So she's a great, and she works also part-time in the clinic. So she's a great success story. I have some students that work together still in clinics,
Is that
and
right?
so they've stuck together.
Yeah.
And some work part-time, some work full-time. So there's so much flexibility in this field. It really is a great field to get into. Very rewarding, and like I said, hours and can be flexible as well. So
Yeah. Although, I mean, it sounds pretty full time. I mean, do folks also
for-
work during the program, or?
for the program
Yeah.
itself, yes,
Yeah.
it's pretty much full-time.
Right.
But students do work.
Do they really?
Yes,
Wow.
they do. They
to.
have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose with the night and the online options, it affords them the opportunity,
Yeah.
to adjust their schedules and maybe even hold a part-time job, right?
Right.
Just to,
That's the hope. Yeah.
just to get through, yeah. Especially if they're working parents,
Yes.
or non-traditional older students that are
Yes,
changing
which-
careers.
Is very common in community college.
Yes.
That the student is a non-traditional student, and so in the PTA program we do have parents. Change of career
Right.
later on in life.
Yes.
So lots of different backgrounds and responsibilities outside the program, but they can do it.
Yeah.
They do it. So.
What is physical therapy? We never talked about that. We saw the video there.
Yep.
But generally, what is
Generally?
physical therapy?
Yeah, so physical therapists and physical therapist assistants, really the main goal is helping people get back to maximum function, to maximize their function
Right.
and get them back to the lifestyle they want to lead. And so that is done through many different techniques, mostly therapeutic exercise, manual techniques, manual therapies such as soft tissue mobilization, joint mobilization, stretching, balance and coordination training, gait training, or teaching someone how to use crutches or a walker from something like getting in and out of bed,
Yep.
making sure their home environment is safe. So many facets, but the main gist is that we want to maximize patients' function and get them back to doing what they like to do.
And who would be your typical kind of patients, that looks for physical therapy? Obviously, I'm assuming it's post-operative many times, right?
Yeah, it can be post-operative. Physical therapy is rendered in many different settings. So if you use the acute care setting or a hospital setting, for example, maybe somebody just had a surgery and they need to meet a few criteria before they can go home, just being able to get in and out of bed independently,
Right.
or they might have stairs at home that they need to do. And so that's where the physical therapist comes in and trains them on whatever assistive devices they might need and
Yes.
stairs, and that can sort of also go into a skilled nursing facility,
Yes.
that type of treatment. And then we also have outpatient setting where the patient comes to us, and maybe that's a little bit different. The goals are a little different there, where
Yep.
they're trying to get back to a sport or a hobby or something like that. So
Right.
it expands
very individual.
a lot of different types of fields.
Yeah, but I'm thinking the therapist not only needs the scientific background and the physical background, but also communication skills, right?
Yes.
To determine what exactly is best for that particular person.
Yeah, and that's part of our curriculum
Is it
too,
really?
is teaching
Yeah.
communication strategies and with your patients. It's really
exciting.
important. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's coming to Quincy beginning in January.
Yes. Yes.
right.
We're very excited, and any questions or any any inquiries about the program, people can reach out to me directly. Yeah.
Great to meet you,
Yeah.
Doctor. Thanks for coming
Thank you.
over.
It was great to meet you
You're
too.
very welcome. Just enough time to check the forecast for you for the rest of the day today. It looks really nice, actually. Sunny and mild. Temperatures in the upper 70s this afternoon. Drop down to the comfortable upper 50s this evening. A dry weekend, a little cloudier tomorrow than on Sunday, but still nice, and still nice on Monday, believe it or not, to wrap up September. Thanks again to Christy Amarosino for joining us today from the Physical Therapist Assistant Program at Quincy College.
Thank you.
Thanks to our crew. Thank you for watching Monday here on the show. Representatives from the Triad Theater Group at the Curtain Call Theater will be stopping by to tell us about their next production. Meantime, check our website. It's qatv.org. All of our latest programs are there. There's news, information, video on demand, live streaming, and more. For all of us here at QATV, I'm Joe Catalano. Have a great weekend.